Super Mario Bros. It's iconic. It's an empire of games, cartoons, clothing, toys, and literally anything else you can imagine. It's over 30 years old, and yet never seems to have made a misstep. Even the cheesy mobile game Super Mario Run has been received generally favorably, and has between 50 and 100 million installs on Android alone, let alone whatever business it's done on Apple's App Store. On Google Play, it's got almost 1 million reviews and still maintains a 4-star rating. Mario is the mascot of Nintendo worldwide, and although Mario first appeared in Donkey Kong and then Mario Brothers had their own arcade game, once things became Super, it was a whole new world for video games, particularly in the United States. While I could go into the video game crash of the 1980s and how Nintendo practically single-handedly saved the industry, there are a million other videos on YouTube that are willing to cover that topic. Today I want to talk about the lore surrounding the Mario universe. Now, obviously that could become a lengthy task, and I could make several videos on the topic, but I'm going to keep things relatively simple and talk about the earliest Super Mario Bros. Titles and see where they take us. To make things easier on myself and to provide some eye-catching visuals, I'll be demonstrating the games as they're seen in 1993's Super Mario All-Stars Plus World for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Best to begin with 1985's Super Mario Bros. On the Nintendo Entertainment System. A side-scrolling platformer, the game's mechanics just feel balanced in all the right ways. The game features a character created by Nintendo veteran Shigeru Miyamoto, who was originally used in Donkey Kong and later Mario Brothers. In each of those games, our lead character Mario was depicted as a construction worker or a plumber, climbing scaffolding to rescue a woman from an angry ape, or simply unclogging unearthly creatures from pipes. But now he's onto a whole new adventure in a whole new land of magical items and powers. Obtaining a mushroom allows your character to grow into Super Mario, and another upgrade is available in the form of the Fire Flower. Picking up a Starman also affords Mario invincibility for a limited time. The graphics of the original stood out above things available on competing consoles like the Atari 2600. While some programmers did their best to make other games look good, nothing looked as good as the NES at that price point at the time. Sprites are large, you have a well-defined image of what characters look like, and while the backgrounds were mostly solid colors, little details like clouds or bushes would appear in some levels. Musically, the only word a person can use is, again, iconic. The music sticks in your head, and even modern remakes and remixes of the original never get old. Koji Kondo's work will simply go down in history as some of the most memorable music ever created. It may not be as layered or complex as games that would come later, but it works so well and in its own way helps to color the landscape of the game. Sound effects are satisfying in a way few other games are. Mario's fireballs practically sound as if they're being spit out towards enemies. The muted sounds of stomping on Goombas and the sounds of Koopa Troopa shells clacking together are memorable, and the satisfaction of Mario's jump sound matching the exact way he jumps, lasting the proper duration, modulating itself away at the peak of his jump, everything just fits so well. So what kind of story do we have for Super Mario Bros.? Many people just play through the game and save the princess, they know that much, but how was the game presented in 1985? Let's take a look at one of the early manuals. One day, the kingdom of the peaceful mushroom people was invaded by the Koopa, a tribe of turtles famous for their black magic. The quiet, peace-loving mushroom people were turned into mere stones, bricks, and even field horsehair plants, and the mushroom kingdom fell into ruin. The only one who can undo the magic spell on the mushroom people and return them to their normal selves is the Princess Toadstool, the daughter of the Mushroom King. Unfortunately, she is presently in the hands of the great Koopa Turtle King. Mario, the hero of the story, maybe, hears about the mushroom people's plight and sets out on a quest to free the Mushroom Princess from the evil Koopa and restore the fallen kingdom of the mushroom people. You are Mario. It's up to you to save the mushroom people from the black magic of the Koopa. It's interesting to note here that the story found in the Super Mario All-Stars manual is much shorter and changes some details. The Mushroom Kingdom was a peaceful place until the fateful day that Bowser used his twisted magic to invade it. Bowser turned most of the Mushroom Kingdom's people into rocks, bricks, and mushrooms. He even kidnapped Princess Toadstool and held her captive in his huge castle. When the Mario brothers, Mario and Luigi, heard this, they knew that they needed to do something. They decided to battle Bowser and his evil minions to save the princess. Can they do it? It's a much more straightforward story, but back to that old manual, some people, let's say certain theorists, have pointed out how Mario is maybe the hero of the game. While you could go down a rabbit hole on that, it also may just indicate that you may be the hero or you may fail at your quest. The manual definitely refers to the Koopas as having black magic, and does refer to Bowser as King of the Koopas. Yes, I called him Bowser. Despite many people assuming that name didn't come into existence until later games, it's right there in the original instruction booklet, not just in the All-Stars manual. So yes, it's hard to be unbiased when it comes to a game like Super Mario Bros. Because of its iconic status, and its place in my heart thanks to the countless hours spent playing these games in my childhood. But it gets a little easier to criticize when we get to Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. That's right, before I go into Super Mario Bros. 2, we have to talk about the Lost Levels. The graphics were identical, the music was identical, the gameplay, however, was much more difficult. The level design was perfect for anyone who had mastered Super Mario Bros. And was looking for a challenge, but someone who wanted a new experience was going to get beat over the head. Even capturing footage for this game in Super Mario All-Stars, remembering how hard it was when I first played the Lost Levels as a kid, I thought I'd be able to cope much better now as an adult, but no, this game is deliberately challenging. It's full of traps, even in hidden areas where most people would assume they were safe to run through and collect items. It could have enemies or other dangerous items, such as the iconic poison mushroom. Luigi is playable as a different character in this game and experiences the ability to jump higher, although his controls are a bit more slippery. It was the first time playing as Luigi was a different experience for players. Super Mario Bros. 2 was created in Japan in just 4 months. Time was saved by reusing all the assets from graphics to music. Imagine being a kid in 1986 though, and having a game challenge you like this. While many people would have probably latched on to the game's challenge, many more would also look at the game's same graphics and same music. Nintendo of America's Howard Phillips worried American players would reject the game and reached out to Nintendo of Japan to ask for a different sequel. While it was indeed a sequel in Japan, the game was released for the Famicom Disk System, and as such only included a small paper insert. No instruction booklet that I'm aware of ever existed for the game. When you look into the instruction booklet for Super Mario All-Stars, the Lost Levels are treated as a special version of Super Mario Bros. It's almost like 2013's new Super Luigi U. Essentially, it's made to be a challenge mode version of New Super Mario Bros. U. The Lost Levels, as we call it, is a continuation of the same Mario game, and the levels could easily fit within the existing Super Mario Bros. Game before the end levels. Even the endings of the two games don't differ a great deal. Still, if you'd rather imagine our Princess Toadstool being kidnapped twice, that's up to you, but many people don't consider her a damsel in distress, because in the United States, we received our own Super Mario Bros. 2, and in the all-new adventure, you were not only able to play as Mario and Luigi, but also Toad and Princess Toadstool herself. She was my favorite character in the 1988 classic NES title, because of her ability to float. Luigi had high jumps and Toad was quick and nimble, and Mario was simply well balanced and played almost as he had in the first Super Mario game. For many players, the game was different, but not a radical departure. It was still a great deal of fun. The graphics were revamped, the characters all given more uniquely identifiable traits, and new bad guys who would end up becoming franchise staples were introduced in this game. Pulling vegetables from the ground as a method of attacking enemies didn't really stick around, but the game still played in new ways, and the game was intentionally much more vertical than the last, which helped it stand out even more from its predecessor. Most people watching any video of mine are probably already familiar with the fact that Super Mario Bros. 2, which we received in the USA, is a different game from what was released in Japan. Obviously, as I just talked about, Japan got what we called the Lost Levels. So where did Super Mario 2 USA, as it's come to be known in Japan, come from? A particular gaming historian on YouTube can tell you all about how the Japanese game Doki Doki Panic became Super Mario Bros. 2 in the USA. But the simple reality is that the game was developed by mostly the same team who made up the original Super Mario Bros., including Koji Kondo coming back for the music, which this time doesn't sound as much like video game music and instead has more traditional musical influences, such as ragtime. But having the same team that worked on the original Mario create this game made it feel almost seamless when they repurposed Doki Doki Panic as a Mario game. It still felt very much like it belonged in the Mario universe. So, what is the reason for the radical departure from the characters and worlds and mechanics we know and love from a story perspective? We know the real-world reasons, as Doki Doki Panic being reappropriated as a Mario title, but the team at Nintendo of America had some explaining to do in the instruction manual. One evening, Mario had a strange dream. He dreamt of a long stairway leading up to a door. As soon as the door opened, he was confronted with a world he had never seen before, spreading out as far as his eyes could see. When he strained his ears to listen, he heard a faint voice saying, "Welcome to Subcon, the land of dreams. We have been cursed by Wart, and we are completely under his evil spell. We've been awaiting your arrival. Please defeat Wart and return Subcon to its natural state. The curse Wart has put on you in the real world will not have any effect upon you here. Remember, Wart hates vegetables. Please help us." At the same time this was heard, a bolt of lightning flashed before Mario's eyes. Stunned, Mario lost his footing and tumbled upside down. He awoke with a start to find himself sitting up in his bed. To clear his head, Mario talked to Luigi, Toad, and Princess about the strange dream he had. They decided to go to a nearby mountain for a picnic. After arriving at the picnic area and looking at the scenery, they see a small cave nearby. When they enter this cave, to their great surprise, there's a stairway leading up, and up. It is exactly like the one Mario saw in his dream. They all walk together up to the stairs and at the top find a door just like the one in Mario's dream. When Mario and his friends, in fear, open the door, to their surprise, the world that he saw in his dream spreads out before them. Once again, the story is found in the All-Stars manual, differs slightly, so let's give it a quick read. One evening, Mario had a strange dream. He dreamt of a long stairway leading up to a door. As soon as the door opened, he was confronted with a world he'd never seen before, spreading out as far as his eyes could see. Suddenly, he heard a faint voice saying, "Welcome to Subcon, the land of dreams. We've been cursed by Wart. Please defeat Wart and save us. Remember, Wart hates vegetables. Please help us." The next day, on the way to a picnic, Mario talked to Luigi, Toad, and the princess about the strange dream he had. After arriving at the picnic area, they found a small cave. When they opened the door in this cave, to their great surprise, the world that Mario saw in his dream spread out before them. So they're fairly similar, but the All-Stars manual leaves out the curse. That's an interesting detail to leave out. But anyway, Mario went to the Mushroom Kingdom and now he's off to the land of Subcon. Okay, not much continuity between the two games, but let's tag along. The game starts with a mysterious door and a voice calling out to Mario. That's all the more reason he needs to be a hero. The game itself has a brief introduction as well, which basically says an even shorter version of what's in the original manual. But as you traverse the game, it's just one level after another. Yes, there are boss battles and even mini-boss battles at the end of just about every level, but not much gets uncovered in the game itself. At certain points in the game, you're pulling rocket ships out of the ground. What kind of world is this? The first Super Mario Bros. Game took place in a universe that was somewhat magical but made sense. This land of Subcon is just weird. However, the first Super Mario Bros. Game also had just about the same amount of storytelling as Super Mario Bros. 2. The original Super Mario doesn't have an intro story in the game at all, and the story doesn't unfold in any way other than, sorry, but our princess is in another castle. So, onward to the next castle. But the reality is that there isn't much to keep you going on and on. Beat a level, and the next one loads. There isn't much of a reason given within the game itself to make you want to continue to see what's next. So there we have it. The first two, or is it three, the first few entries in the Super Mario Bros. Catalog. Very different games for very obvious real-world reasons, but explained in the fiction of the universe in interesting ways. But there are more classic Mario games that deserve our attention, so I'm definitely not done yet. You'll have to come back next week for more of our story so far. Hey, thanks a lot everybody for watching episode number 50 of Our Story So Far TV. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. The ending might have been a little abrupt, but that's just because I have more in store for episode 51. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the don't like thumbs down button. That's fine by me, I understand. But please leave a comment, maybe tell me why. If you don't like commenting on YouTube, you can always send me a message on Twitter, @NewAngel, that's NUANGEL. And if you're interested in what I'm doing here on this channel just in general, want to see more videos, they're easy to find over at ourstorysofar.tv. Just like episodes 25 and 26 covering Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Sonic & Knuckles, I released those episodes just 1 week apart, and that's precisely what I intend to do with 50 and 51, covering all the games in the Super Mario All-Stars Plus World cartridge. So I hope you'll be back next Friday. But until next time, take care of yourself.